The essence of the Stoic approach to suffering is not whether one will face difficulties, but how one chooses to respond to them. Choosing to complain and resentment only increases the pain. However, if you choose resilience and courage, your life changes. This is why the Stoics knew how to endure suffering with dignity, because the greatest virtues are born in pain. Overcoming adversity without complaint is not just a way of coping, but a path to inner strength, wisdom, and power. It is the art of turning pain into a source of strength to meet life as challenges with dignity and confidence. In the theater of life, where the outer and the inner intersect, we often find ourselves prisoners of our emotions and attachments. The Stoics, with their deep understanding of human nature, taught that pain is not caused by external circumstances, but by our evaluation of them, and that evaluation can always be changed. This is not a call to humility, but an assertion of control over one's inner state. The pain of loss, loneliness, or betrayal is a reflection of our thoughts. But if you change your perspective, if you see loss as a lesson and grief as an opportunity for growth, your attitude toward the events will change. This doesn't mean denying the pain, but realizing that the power lies in the ability to change perception. It is important to disengage from what is uncontrollable and strengthen the mind that remains unshaken. The Stoic approach teaches us to question the stories we tell ourselves about our emotions and attachments. This practice develops a steadfastness that does not negate emotions, but empowers us with wisdom. Within each of us lies a powerful ability to choose our reactions, thoughts, and to remain calm inside despite the chaos outside. In this way, loss becomes not a burden but a source of wisdom. In life, reason and emotion often collide, shaping our perception of loss and attachments. Stoic philosophy, by emphasizing rationality, offers a steady reference point in the maelstrom of feelings. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoics, urged reliance on reason to help determine with clarity what is within our grasp and what is not. This lesson teaches us to use the power of reason to soberly analyze the nature of our attachments rather than give in to emotion. Mindfulness allows us to deal with the deepest pain of loss by separating what depends on us from what is beyond our control. It does not mean suppressing feelings, but helping us to accept them consciously and with dignity, finding a balance between rationality and emotion. From a Stoic perspective, rationality is not the suppression of emotions, but harmony between feelings and reason. It is the ability to critically analyze one's experiences, question one's reactions, and see the situation from a broader perspective. When we experience the breakup or loss of a loved one, our natural instincts push us toward despair or anger. However, by taking a rational approach, we can see these events not only as a source of pain, but also as an opportunity for self-development. Marcus Aurelius advised asking ourselves the question, "Is this within my control?" Such a simple step helps shift our focus from the loss itself to how we respond to it. It allows us to step out of the victim role, take control of the situation, and act with wisdom and strength. This approach takes time and conscious effort. We need to stop, pause, and pay attention to our thoughts and feelings to look at them objectively. This process is like tending a garden, where the mind is a tool to help remove the weeds of irrational thoughts and grow the sprouts of calm and acceptance. Realizing that relationships and attachments have a lifespan allows us to see inevitable losses not as a tragedy, but as a natural part of life. Rationality teaches us to appreciate the moments spent with loved ones, to let them go with gratitude, and to find peace in the realization that love and connections are enriched even through loss. Each ending of something becomes part of the overall cycle of life. This perspective allows us to maintain inner peace and strengthens our consciousness, helping us to find harmony in the inevitable changes. In the complex web of human life, acceptance plays a key role, especially in Stoic philosophy. It offers to find peace even in the most difficult of trials, such as loss or separation. For the Stoics, acceptance is not indifference or submission to circumstances, but a conscious acceptance of life as changes with a clear mind and an open heart. This principle helps us see the end of a relationship or loss as part of the natural order of things, strengthening us spiritually. Marcus Aurelius said, "You can leave life right now. Let it determine what you do, say, and think." Realizing the frailty of life pushes us to appreciate every connection, realizing that it doesn't last forever. It allows us to let go with grace instead of clinging to the past with pain. Acceptance doesn't weaken our ability to love. On the contrary, it makes our affection more genuine and our memories more precious. Realizing the transitory nature of all things fills every moment of life with depth and meaning. Acceptance is also the key to inner balance. It teaches us to focus on what we can control, our actions, reactions, attitudes toward life, and what lies beyond our control, the decisions of others, the passage of time. The inevitability of loss requires a conscious letting go. When we shift our energy to our area of responsibility, we become equanimous in the face of life as challenges. This virtue allows us to face change and loss with calmness, inner strength, and a clear mind. Stoic philosophy emphasizes the importance of being aware of and experiencing the full range of human emotions, from sadness and grief to joy and love. However, a key difference in the Stoic approach is the ability to not be overwhelmed by these feelings. By accepting our experiences, we gain inner freedom, the ability to live in the present, to love without attachment, and to face life as difficulties with wisdom and openness of heart. Adversity is inevitable in human life. They challenge our fortitude and test our courage. Stoic philosophy teaches us to see trials as opportunities for growth, not as obstacles. The idea of turning hardships into advantages is especially relevant in times of loss and emotional upheaval. Marcus Aurelius said, the obstacle on the path becomes the path itself. This principle encourages us to see problems not as barriers to happiness, but as chances to develop resilience, patience, and strength. When we change our attitude toward difficulties, we learn not only to accept them as part of life, but also to use them for personal growth. The loss of a loved one or the end of a meaningful relationship are some of the most difficult challenges we face. Nevertheless, the Stoics remind us that while we cannot change external circumstances, we can always control our reactions to them. This awareness allows us to experience grief in a balanced way, acknowledging the pain but gradually finding ways to learn the lessons and integrate them into our lives. Stoic resilience does not involve suppressing emotions. It teaches us to feel deeply, but to remember that we have the power to endure even the hardest moments. As we go through loss, we not only overcome difficulties, but also become wiser, strengthen our spirits, and find peace even in chaos. In Stoic philosophy, virtues such as wisdom, courage, and justice serve as the foundation for coping with the difficulties of life. Cultivating these qualities in our daily lives helps us make informed decisions and live in harmony with nature and ourselves, especially in the context of loss and personal challenges. Wisdom empowers us to see each experience as a learning opportunity. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" we begin to ask, "What can I learn from this situation?" This approach allows us to see trials as lessons rather than punishment. Wisdom also reminds us of the transience of emotions and attachments. This understanding helps us appreciate current moments and relationships without fear of their end. We learn to treasure the present without clinging to the past or worrying about the future. Stoics argue that moral courage is the ability to remain true to one's beliefs even in the most difficult circumstances. It also means the willingness to end relationships that no longer serve our well-being or to face the pain of loss with dignity, retaining the ability to enjoy life and love. Courage is associated not only with willpower, but also with the wisdom to not only take care of one's own inner state, but also to bring harmony to those around us. Stoic philosophy teaches liberation from attachments to material goods, results, or even expectations. This is not indifference, but an awareness of the impermanence of the external world. This principle helps us maintain inner peace and focus on what is truly important and within our control. Epictetus emphasized the importance of distinguishing between what is within our control, our thoughts, intentions, actions, and what is beyond our influence, the behavior of others, material things, even our lives. When we internalize this distinction, we learn to spend energy only on what we can change and stop worrying about what is beyond our control. The practice of letting go requires mindfulness. It teaches us to treasure what we have, yet be willing to let it go if the time comes. This approach brings freedom and inner peace, allowing us to accept change as a natural part of life. To master the art of detachment, we need to rethink our attachments. This process starts small, becoming aware of our reactions to praise or criticism, loosening our dependence on comfort and external factors. Gradually, we learn to find inner fulfillment that is independent of external circumstances. Stoic detachment helps us build character and focus on personal growth. It teaches us to be grateful for what we have and to live in the present moment. By letting go of what is beyond our control, we gain freedom and resilience in the face of change. Stoicism provides a solid foundation for dealing with the pain of loss. It teaches us to accept grief as a natural part of the human experience while not allowing it to completely define our lives. Philosophers such as Seneca emphasized the need for open acceptance of emotions. They argued that the pain of loss should be acknowledged, but should not completely take over our consciousness. This does not mean suppressing feelings, but rather allowing us to live with an awareness of the transience of all things. Stoic wisdom helps balance attachments and losses. We learn to form conscious connections with people and things, to treasure them, but not to be totally dependent on them. This allows us to maintain inner strength and the realization that our ability to choose, think, and be virtuous remains intact despite external circumstances. The practice of letting go is closely related to the development of gratitude. By focusing on the present moment and treasuring what we have, but not becoming attached to it, we learn to find inner fulfillment. Recognizing the transience of life and reflecting on the possible loss of what we hold dear helps us build emotional resilience. It prepares us to face loss with dignity and acceptance. Adopting Stoic principles in the face of grief and attachments allows us to find inner strength. It reminds us that our capacity for joy, love, and serenity comes not from external circumstances but from our inner nature. One of the key lessons of Stoicism is the value of self-control and moderation to help us maintain harmony in life. This is especially important in the context of letting go of attachments and managing desires. Moderation, as understood by the Stoics, goes beyond controlling physical appetites. It encompasses a sensible approach to our emotions and desires. The Stoics warn that excesses, whether in joy, anger, or aspirations, upset our inner balance and make it difficult to make good decisions. Moderation helps us distinguish between true needs and excessive desires. This approach builds resilience in the face of loss and helps us avoid overdependence on people, outcomes, or material goods. Practicing restraint helps you focus on your inner state and personal growth rather than on external conditions. It teaches one to accept loss with dignity, finding support in understanding the inevitability of change. Stoic philosophy teaches us to accept change as a natural and inevitable part of life. Marcus Aurelius emphasized that change is not just inevitable, but is an important part of the cosmic order. Recognizing this helps us to face life as transitions with calmness and readiness. Accepting change is not passive humility, It is active participation in life, the ability to see change as a new opportunity. Recognizing the impermanence of the world allows us to appreciate the present moment more deeply, eliminating the fear of losing what we want or failing to achieve our goals. A Stoic approach encourages us to see change as a chance to grow and strengthen our virtues. Instead of resisting change, we can ask ourselves the questions: what can I learn from this experience? How can I become stronger? This helps us move through life consciously, making meaningful decisions. The main goal of Stoicism is to cultivate an inner calm that is independent of external factors. True tranquility is achieved through cultivating virtues such as wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation. Stoics such as Epictetus argued that the source of anxiety is not external events but our judgments about them. By practicing objectivity and virtue, we learn to maintain self-control by focusing on what we can control and letting go of what is beyond our influence. This approach allows us to meet difficulties with a mindset of growth rather than regret. Inner peace becomes a natural consequence of a life lived in harmony with reason and virtue. Love of fate, or amor fati, plays an important role in Stoicism. Acceptance of life in all its manifestations, without resistance or bitterness, allows us to find inner peace. This acceptance is not a sign of passivity, but, on the contrary, an expression of active love for life, including its difficulties. Each trial, according to the Stoics, serves our wisdom and strength of character. Being conscious of our fate helps us see farewells as opportunities for growth and challenges as guideposts on the road to harmony. These lessons of Stoicism are a reminder: our power to cope with loss and embrace change is always within us. Use these principles to live each moment with gratitude and resilience, turning life as challenges into stepping stones to personal growth and deep inner peace.